Okay, so let's try to do a single crochet with our hook. Now at this point you should have already done 2 chains. You should have done your chain by hand and you should have done a chain by hook. So now we're going to learn to connect the chain to make a shape, to connect the rows. So what I just did there is basically right now I'm just making a chain. I'm making the foundation chain, which you guys have already learned to do through the other tutorials. I like to keep my foundation chain pretty loose because I'm going to start stitching into it. So that looks good to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. Once I come to the end of the row, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to pull up a loop next to the loop so that I have two loops on my hook. Then I grab some of my yarn. I yarn over is what it's called. Pull through both loops. I go in through a loop, yarn over, and then yarn over through both loops. I'm just trying to keep my loops straight here. See that chain? Go through that. And then go through both loops. So in Britain it's called a double stitch because you want to have two loops on your hook. Sometimes my yarn falls off. That's all right. Start over. Okay, look for that loop. It's not the loop right next to your yarn though. It's the one next to that. Yarn over, pull through both. Find your loop, yarn through, find your loop. There you go. Go through the loop, yarn over again and go through both loops. Find your loop, go through, yarn over again through both loops. There you find your chain, yarn over again and go through both. Find your chain, yarn over again and go through both. Whoops. Go through my chain, yarn over again and go through. Find your last one. Now remember, your slip knot is not a chain, so leave the knot alone. Yarn over, go through. Now here was where you do one extra step. After you've done your first or your second row, got one more that I'm gonna go, no, decided not to. I think I'm ready. So you're gonna do a single, you're gonna do a chain, a single chain right there, because you need a little bit room, you need a little height. So that one little chain that you've done will give you a little bit of height so you can turn your hook around and repeat the process in the other direction. There you go. Find the chain next to the chain that your yarn is going through. Yarn over and then yarn over again and go through both loops. Yarn over again and go through both. Now, whether or not this is the proper way to do it, it's the way I've done it. I have a much looser crochet artist. I'm more interested in sort of the big picture, but I do really enjoy the process. You can look at the other tutorials if you'd like to get more detailed information. Managing your yarn is a thing too. Make sure that it doesn't pull too tight so that it becomes difficult for you to work with. It's always nice to have a little loose yarn. So here I'm going through the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through. Finding my loop, going through, pulling the yarn through, and then pulling it through both loops. Now, once you're doing this, it might appear that there's a number of loops to choose from when you're making your next stitch. Just be consistent if you want to have sort of an even looking uniform crochet. Got a little something going on that far end, but you know, it's all right with me. I'm just going to keep going. I'm not really making a hat. I'm making a sculpture. So all these little lumps and bumps are just going to be part of it, and I can respond to them later. I've sped this up a little bit just to get us through the process. The main thing is developing sort of a pattern and repeating it. It's about repeated patterns with this, that's for sure. Find your loop, yarn over again, and go through 2 loops. And remember, when you turn around, when you finish your row and you turn around, you have to do an extra chain stitch to give you a little height. You turn around and you get back to it. All right,